I'm Mr. Shields. In this video, we are going to spend about 10 minutes exploring Google Chrome. The first section of the video will cover 5 essential operations. The second portion of the video will cover some shortcuts that will hopefully make your life easier when you are using Chrome. Let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully, everyone is familiar with Google Chrome. This is the Google Chrome icon. It is a circle with the green, red, and yellow spiral. You may find the icon on your desktop, on your taskbar, or in the Start menu, depending on how your computer is set up. Once you open Google Chrome, one of the first things you will want to do is to sign into Google Chrome. If you have not previously signed in, you will have a person in the upper right-hand corner that appears very gray. If you click that, you will have the ability to turn on the sync or to sign in. If you turn on sync, you'll be prompted to sign in. You should sign in with your school email address. Once you have typed your school email address, click Next, and you'll be prompted for your password. At that point, you will enter your password. Once you have entered your password, click Next. You'll be prompted to ask if you would like to link Chrome data to your school account. And yes, you want to click Link Data. You will also be asked if you would like to turn on sync. This allows, as it says, bookmarks, history, and passwords to be synced across this Google account so you can use them on all of your devices. For example, you can use them on your school-issued iPad or your school-issued Atlas as well. So the same bookmarks, the same history, and the same passwords will appear on every device where you are signed in. This is the advantage of signing in. Also, when the current teacher laptop lease expires and you get a new laptop, once you sign into your new laptop, you will not lose any of your favorites, bookmarks, or history. They will all be retained if you have signed into Google Chrome. If you are not signed into Google Chrome, all of those things will be lost. This is why it's very important to sign into Google Chrome. Click Turn On. And now you will notice you see a picture in the upper right-hand corner that indicates your name. And you are successfully signed into Google Chrome. The process on the Atlas would be exactly the same. We're going to take just a couple of minutes now to look at the process on the iPad as well. In order to sign into Chrome on your iPad, obviously, you will need to have Chrome installed, and you will also need to make sure that you have the most recent version of Chrome. If there are any questions, please log into the App Store and see if there are any updates pending for Chrome. In order to access the Sign In menu, we are going to click the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. Before we access the area to sign in, please be aware of all the other options that are available by pressing those 3 dots. Later in the video, I will talk about a number of these options on the computer, but this is where you access them on the iPad. For this particular option, to sign in, I'm going to select Settings, and the following menu will appear. To sign into Chrome, obviously, I tap the Sign into Chrome option. You can see that I've previously signed into Chrome on this device, so that option is available for me. If you have not previously, you're going to click Add Account, at which point you'll be prompted to enter your email and your password. Obviously, that is your school-issued email and password. This process is exactly the same as it was on the computer. Since I've previously signed in, obviously I'm going to select that option and I'm going to click Continue. And after you have entered your email and password, you would reach the same screen. You will accept and sign in that you are signing in with a managed account. And you will also check OK that Chrome is syncing and that you are aware that you can access things such as history and bookmarks on multiple devices. So you click OK, got it. At that point, you are signed in to Chrome on your iPad. Another useful feature of Chrome is the ability to load certain pages every time you start. And if you are syncing, these will also start on every single device that you use. So for example, let's say that you log into Skyward and Canvas on a daily basis, and you want both Canvas and Skyward to launch every time you open Chrome, whether that be on your teacher laptop, your school-issued iPad, or your school-issued Atlas. What you can do is you can hit the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. You can go to Settings. From Settings, you can scroll down to the option on Startup. So you have 3 options here. One of them is to open a new tab page. One is to continue where you left off when you closed Chrome previously. And the other is to open a specific page or set of pages. You can see that I have a number of pages already set for my own personal Chrome. But let's say that I wanted to reset those so that it was only Canvas and Skyward. I could click the Use Current Pages button, and it will set those 2 pages as the pages that will be launched when I start up. If I navigate to a page and I find that that's the page that I want to use every time I start up, I can click Add New Page and I can paste the URL right there. So if I wanted to copy the Skyward address, for example, and add that to the ones that I already have, I could copy that and then I could paste that and I could add that to the list of pages that I already have. Once I have pages there, if I no longer want that page, I can click the three dots and I can click remove. But if you have all the tabs open, you can simply click Use Current Pages, and those pages will launch automatically every time that you open Chrome. So for example, if I close Chrome and I reopen Chrome, I am going to see that the 6 pages that I have set for startup will launch every single time. I would like to talk about two tools that are often underutilized. That's the incognito window and the ability to browse in guest mode. You may have noticed in the past that there is an incognito window that you can open, and the incognito window allows you to browse without your history being remembered. It does retain things like your favorites and your bookmarks, but it allows you to browse so that whatever you're going to will not be stored in your history. Now keep in mind that your history will be stored as part of the school's data, so you're not doing something that's invisible to the school. What this does allow you to do is it allows you to access a site that someone else may need to get onto. So let's say, for example, you have another teacher in your room and they're collaborating and they need to check their email. Rather than having you sign out of your email and having them sign in, you can open an incognito window, go to Gmail, and notice that even though I'm signed in and syncing on my actual Chrome, in the incognito window it's asking me to sign in. So I could have another teacher sign in, and as soon as I close the incognito window, that history is forgotten and their username and password will not be stored on my computer. It can also be used for checking things like if you have your own website and you want to see what your website looks like, you can open an incognito window and you can type in the URL of your website, and that way you see it as someone visiting as opposed to someone who is editing and creating. But there are a number of uses for the incognito window. There's also guest mode. You can choose to allow someone to browse as a guest. If you're signed in, you can hit the three dots and you can go to Settings. And under Settings, there is the Manage Other People option, and if you open that, you have the ability to browse as a guest. Browse as a guest is very similar to the incognito window, except that you notice that none of the bookmarks and the history and other things show up on my browser. It's basically just a blank browser. This would be good if you had a guest speaker or you had someone coming in and they needed to access and you didn't want anything that they did to be saved as part of your account under your history or something like that. Again, the guest mode does not obviously get you out of being tracked and filtered by the school system. They're not a way around that, but they are a way to have multiple people logged into multiple accounts without having the primary user sign in and out constantly. Another option that many teachers like is the Bookmarks Bar. The Bookmarks Bar goes across the top of the screen just below the URL and shows your favorite bookmarks in an area where they are easily accessible. It also shows all other bookmarks on the far right, and you can easily navigate to those as well. In order to turn on your Bookmarks Bar, you're going to click the three dots in the upper right hand corner, and then you are going to go to Bookmarks, and you are going to make sure that Show Bookmarks Bar is checked. That will turn your Bookmarks Bar on. Likewise, if you want to turn it off, you can uncheck the Show Bookmarks Bar button and that will disappear. Again, to turn that on, you click the three dots, go to Bookmarks, and then go Show Bookmarks Bar, and your Bookmarks Bar will easily be accessible at the top of the screen, along with all additional other bookmarks on the right side. At times, you may also find that you want to organize your bookmarks. In order to do so, again, click the three dots and go to Bookmarks, and this time select the Bookmarks Manager. Notice there is a shortcut, Control-Shift, and the letter O. Once I open the Bookmarks Manager, it will show me all of my bookmarks and how they are organized. You can see the bookmarks bars at the top with all other bookmarks below that, and I can scroll down. Let's say that I have something that's in my other bookmarks that I actually want to be on my bookmark bar at the top of the screen. So I'm just going to click on one of them, and let's say that I want Control-Alt-Achieve blog to be on my bookmarks bar. All I have to do is left click and drag that, and I can drop that and it will then show up on my bookmarks bar. Notice that an arrow now appears here and I can click there to access the Control-Alt-Achieve blog. If I no longer want that on the bookmarks bar and I want it back in the G Suite for Education, I can of course reverse the operation by clicking on the bookmarks bar and then dragging back over to G Suite for Education, thereby removing it from the bookmarks bar. The Bookmarks Manager is the place you go when you want to organize all the bookmarks that you have accumulated over the years. In the second portion of the video, I'm going to demonstrate some shortcuts that will hopefully be useful to you when you are using Google Chrome. For these example shortcuts, I'm going to use the Greencastle Schools website. The very first shortcut is to hold down the control button and left click on a hyperlink. If I hold down Control, CTRL in the lower left-hand corner of my keyboard, and I left-click, it will open a link in a new tab. That keeps the current tab in place so that I can save it if I want and be redirected into another tab for another link. So for example, if I want to open the Schools link in another tab, I can hold down Control, click on Schools, and notice the Schools link will open in a separate tab, and I have the original tab remaining open. Similar to the previous shortcut, if I hold down the Shift button and click on a link, it will open in a brand new window. So let's say that I want to open the Staff link in a brand new window. I can hold down the Shift button, left click with my mouse, and I will have a new instance of Chrome that is opened with just the link that I clicked on. If you have a website and it requires scrolling, you can of course use your mouse or the down arrow. You can also use the space bar. Each time you hit the space bar, it will jump down one page. If you want to go back, similarly, you can hold down the Shift button and press the spacebar, and it will go back up one page at a time. If you have multiple tabs open and you close a tab and you realize that in fact you wanted that tab open, Control, Shift, and T will bring the last tab back. If you have a number of tabs open and you want to save them for later use, you can use Control, Shift, and D, and it will save your session for later use. It will save the session as a bookmark, and all of the sites will be saved. So I could save this, for example, in my Bookmarks Bar, and I could give it the title of January 10th. And I can hit Save, and now notice that January 10th appears in my Bookmarks Bar. If I'm reading on a website and I come across a term that I want to Google, I simply need to highlight that by left-clicking, holding down, and dragging, and then I can right-click with my mouse, and I can select Search Google, and it will open a new tab, and it will Google search for the term that I've highlighted. Similarly, if I want to search just on a page for something, I can use the three dots, and I can go to Find, and if I want to find the term school, in this case, I can search school. Obviously, there are 26 references, and by going up or down, it will allow me to scroll through and toggle through each one of those as I look through the page. So I can quickly easily search for terms on a page as well. If you are reading a website and find a link that you want to save, you don't even need to bookmark that. You can just left click with your mouse on the link, and you can drag it up into the Bookmarks Bar, and you can drop it. Notice that because I already have things in the Bookmark Bar, I have to click this arrow, but it will take me to that link. For this shortcut, I also have Google Drive open, but to demonstrate, I will also jump back to the Greencastle Community Schools website. If I go to the calendar option and I select the 2018-2019 school year calendar, the calendar will open on Google Drive. If I click the download button, it will of course download the file into my downloads bar, and it will appear at the bottom of the screen. It actually downloads it into my downloads folder, but it shows in my downloads bar. I can then click on my drive, and I can scroll down to where there's an open space, and I can drag the file and I can drop it. Of course, I could also drop it in a folder if I wanted to drop it at the top in a folder, but in this case I don't. I'm just going to drop it right here, and it's going to appear in my Google Drive. So you can see there is the 2018-2019 school year calendar. I also can resize this window, and I'm going to put this in a half screen, and if it's still showing in the downloads bar, I can also drag and drop it onto my desktop, and I could drag it there. I also could open my File Explorer, and I could drag and drop it there. So if I wanted to drag and drop this and save it into my documents over here, I could do that as well. So as long as the file is showing here, I have a number of options in terms of where I would like to place that file. If you have a website that continually has music or is popping up with ads that you don't want to hear but you want to read the website, you have the ability to mute a website. If you right-click on the tab, you have the option to mute site. Remember that that site will be muted until you unmute it. So if you go back there and sound isn't playing, you would need to right-click on it and you would need to unmute the site. Similar to the mute option, if you right-click on a tab, you can also pin a tab so that it remains, but it is a smaller tab showing on the far left of the screen. Using the Control button and H on your keyboard will allow you to view the history of what you have accessed in Chrome. In the first section of the video, where I mentioned signing in and syncing, this is where that becomes important. This will show me all of the websites that I have accessed today, but notice there's also an option for tab from other devices. So I can see things that have been accessed from my Atlas or from my iPad, and I can look at all of those on one device. Similarly, if I got onto my iPad, I would see the sites that have been accessed from my teacher laptop, but I can easily view my history by pressing Control H. If you are browsing and you hit the back button, of course you will go back one page. If you left click and hold down, you will see the list of all the pages that you have recently visited, and you can scroll down and choose one of those options if you would like, or again, you can see the full history, which would be accessible by using Control H as well. Those are a few tips for hopefully making Chrome a little bit more efficient in your daily use. I hope you find them useful. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know.